Hey everyone, so this is my review of Supergirl, Season 3, Episode 1, called Girl of Steel. And essentially what this episode is about is that Kara struggles with the loss of Mon-El, and she decides to put all that pain and struggle into being Supergirl and trying to stop this new mysterious threat. And while that's going on, Maggie and Alex sort of run into a bit of confrontation as their wedding is closing in. And this random citizen of National City starts to discover that she might have some strange connection to Supergirl. And this was a really, really entertaining and really great episode that had a really sort of interesting storyline around like recovery and dealing with tragedy and stuff like that. And I was a little nervous and stuff when the trailers came out for the season and stuff, and like all the posts and things that were saying that this was going to be a lot darker Supergirl than the past seasons. And that's just not something I really wanted. I enjoy the happy sort of attitude of the Supergirl that we've had so far. So I knew that she was going to be damaged and be a little sad and stuff because she lost the boy she loves. So I knew that was going to happen, but just her attitude through this first episode was just so not what I wanted, so I was just not looking forward to, if this was going to be a good chunk of the season, her being like that. But I did like that through this episode she did sort of start on that trail of recovery and sort of realizing that she can't shut herself out from her feelings and sort of coming to all these different conclusions that by the end of this episode, she was much more like her normal self, but she did have those sort of heartbreaks still there. So I'm happy that she is on that trail of recovery and sort of starting to become more like she usually is. So I'm happy that darker Supergirl thing isn't gonna last as long as it seemed to be put out there as it lasting. And I did really, really enjoy all the moments with how each of Kara's friends sort of approached her about her dealing with her emotions and her shutting herself away and stuff, where James gave her a whole lot of like harsh love, and just how that didn't work at all and that just completely backfired on him. And then Alex goes and tries to find like a bit or a piece of the original Kara in there to be able to have a decent like lengthy conversation with her to try and get Kara to expose her feelings more and stuff. And that just didn't work because Kara wasn't in the mood for talking. And then the one thing that kind of did work, that eventually did sort of help change Kara back to her normal self, was the conversation with her and John. And that was interesting, with John sort of using his connection to Kara, of them having these very shared sort of storylines of loss and all this different stuff, and just using those connections to sort of help her relate to someone, so then she knew that she could have someone to talk to and stuff. That was just really, really great, and I just enjoyed that whole sort of scene with them on the rooftop talking to one another. And then the whole side storyline between Lena and Morgan Edge was really interesting to see how all that played out, with it sort of establishing more what Edge's character is going to be like, where he tries to take over like Catco and does all these different stuff because he wants to expose Lena for who she truly is to the public and stuff. And with that, I just really want to know if there is a bit more of a connection between Edge and the Luthor family, that he is just so determined to sort of show the public what Lena is actually like in his opinion and stuff. So like, I want to know more about his character and how he connects to Lena and stuff, so I'm very excited to see where that whole relationship and stuff goes between the two of them. And then the moments between Alex and Maggie were okay, with Alex sort of stressing and freaking out more about the wedding and the idea of being put up like on display and stuff like that. It was just really interesting, especially with the thing that I'm very happy about, that they did go back to the ideas of the first season, where Jean is very much like a father figure to Alex and to Kara when their father disappeared. So that, I just love that they did have that moment in this episode where Alex goes to Jean to sort of ask him if he would be her father figure at the wedding and sort of be the one to give her away and stuff like that. So that I'm very happy about, that they did have that moment, but it just felt like a weird sort of storyline to add in this episode to sort of give Alex and Maggie a moment. And then everything with Rain in this episode was really interesting, but not the best, because all that they really did with Rain in this episode was sort of show her off and be like, hey, this is going to be an important character for this season and stuff, without really establishing very much of anything about her. But they did sort of have this moment in this episode with her discovering that she's not normal and that she has super strength and stuff like that. So she's starting down this path of discovering who she truly is. And I really want to know, with how this episode ended, if there's going to be some sort of moment or something where, with the discovery of her pod, is there going to be like a sudden flood of memories or flood of history into her head of who she truly is, or if they're going to do something with that they had to show off, hey, there's this extra pod here. And that I'm very interested to see how all that's going to turn out, and how Rain is going to sort of discover who she truly is. And then I'm a little disappointed that there was nothing really to do with Mon-El in this episode. Yes, there were a few sort of dream sequence things where he was present in, but nothing with the real Mon-El, which I'm happy about because he's not one of my most favorite characters in the world. But still, I really want to know what happened to him when he went through that portal and stuff. Because, yes, there is a pretty decent conciseness in theories and stuff of where he went. But still, I just want to know, and I want to see what they're going to do with him and stuff. So I'm, like I said, disappointed that there was nothing of him in this episode. But hopefully in the episodes to come there will be. And just overall, this was such an entertaining and such a great first episode to introduce a season, and I'm just so excited to see what they're going to do next. So, yeah, that's my review of Supergirl, Season 3, Episode 1, called Girl of Steel. So, yeah. Bye!